Hi, I'm Miki,
Hi, I'm Anna.
and this is our International Studies capstone project.
We're doing a podcast for future generations to see it and just have a look into what it is being an international studies student.
Yeah. Can I begin by asking you, Anna, why you chose international studies?
Well, at first I was not an international studies major. I was a biology major, but because I want to go to med school, but I did not like looking into animals and plants. I wanted to be more on the human aspect.
Okay.
Yes. So I was taking at the time like some core classes like public speaking, history, and I was really drawn into like that aspect too, like the cultural aspect of the humans, just like besides of the medical aspect. So when I was taking these classes, I knew that I was not like I did not want to be a biology major. So I was looking through the majors available at the time for at USF, and I was in between international studies and sociology. But I like that for international studies, like there were like different concentrations. So at first I was a culture, societies, and values concentration. But like I wanted also to be more focused on the politics aspect too. So that's why I changed my concentration to global politics and societies. So I don't know, I feel like I chose it because like the classes are really wide and it helps you to have like critical skills, critical thinking skills, because like you're not only like if you see an issue in the world, then you connect it to a lot of things, and I like that. I like just thinking why it's happening, and I feel like international studies gives you that.
So who introduced you to international studies and being like a bio major here, like at USF to begin with? Like what is the thing that like introduced you to like, oh, there's an international studies department at USF?
Well, like I said, like I went to the website, the USF minor and major website. I was like, oh, I like internet because like it has like the program overview on the website. So I like what it said, like that, like critical thinking stuff and everything. So on my classes, like I looked at the classes that were available for that class. I mean, for that major, and I was really interested in the classes that they were giving. So that's why like I chose international studies.
And then were you automatically enrolled in your concentration or like your regional concentration or your regional focus? And then also you said you changed from you were first cultures. But then obviously you changed to global politics.
Yeah, I guess like it was like depending on the classes I was taking and like what I was getting more interested in. I feel like college is that, like you're trying to figure out what do you like, what do you don't like. So I really like the classes for CSV concentration, but I was also wanting more of the political aspect of it. So that's why I like moved to the global politics and societies concentration. Yeah. How about you? Why did you choose international studies?
So I applied to USF like straight when I was doing my college applications and applying for USF. I applied as an international studies major with like a minor in Latin American studies as well, and so I've just stayed consistent the entire time I've been here. But mainly like what drew me into it was the fact that like I wanted to study something in the realm of politics, but I didn't necessarily want politics to be my only focus. Exactly. I wanted like a more interdisciplinary education, and I know that USF didn't have like an international relations program, which is what I essentially coming out of high school wanted to pursue. I was not crediting international studies as like an incoming freshman to begin with. I kind of didn't give it the benefit of the doubt, and it was like oh yes, I'm applying as this, but maybe I'll change it to my major to Latin American studies or something else like in the future, because I didn't have the international relations like major, like that focus on it. But I think what really cemented me loving IS and actually choosing it my freshman year was taking the courses, like the Intro to International Studies courses with Professor Zarabo.
I also took Intro to International Studies with Zarabo, but for me it was my second year because I was first.
Because you're first bio.
And I feel like that also helped me to choose international studies, because I remember that we discussed from different themes in the class. You know, like because besides being a class where you like talk about like a lot of stuff, you also get like this side, like the inside of like, okay, so what concentration do you want to have? And so there was like different themes. Like I remember talking about las maquiladoras and all that. And it was really interesting. I didn't even know that until that class.
Yeah, no, I think one of the really cool parts of IS is that like in each class you cover such a broad amount of topics that like you see affects you in day-to-day life, you know, and you don't realize you're not aware of it until you have that exposure. And I thought it was super cool to study, and I just wanted it, you know, to continue with it. Like I mentioned Zarabo's like Intro to IS, and then also I know it is a requirement course, but the global economy actually really.
Oh wait, what's your professor for that class?
Professor Chacabot. Maybe she has this room. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, so global economy.
Yes,
Who is your professor?
I took that with Professor Chacabot.
Professor Chacabot. I feel like, wait, was she like small with like a short haircut? Yes, is that her?
I don't remember if she had a short haircut.
I don't remember either. I mean, I remember that her name was like hard to say.
But she was an econ professor, and although like it was an econ class, it was still like it's still an IS requirement, so everyone in IS has to take it along with research methods as well. Research methods, Intro to IS, and then the global economy.
Yeah, we had the same professor.
Same professor?
Yeah, she was so nice. I remember her.
Yes, yeah. It was a great class. I personally liked it because I don't know, it gave me. I took Intro to IS and Global Economy at the same time, so it kind of gave me a deeper perspective, I would say, about like the economic side of things, which is a lot of what we cover in IS, like with what we talk about with the IMF and the World Bank, like, and like, what else? Yeah, like you said, the maquilas and everything. I thought it was just super cool to see like the cause and effect, and you know, put that kind of into practice, right? In the classroom setting. So I feel like that freshman year, you know, just giving it a chance, honestly, and like not being so stuck in my brain all the time.
I feel like if you take Intro to IS, then you get like a sense of what it is and what the major is. Also, I remember that Professor Saraba is really nice.
Yes.
And he's really smart.
Yes.
And then
Professor was very smart.
That was my first class, like having to do like super long papers.
Oh really?
Yeah, because like I was a bio major.
In you at USF?
Yeah, at US, like in USF. Yeah, because I was a bio major and it was mostly like midterms and finals. But here, like in IS, you have like sometimes final exams, but it's mostly like final papers and like papers along the classes. So that was my first time doing papers like that. I was like, I don't know if I'm doing it right, but yes.
Yeah, no, it really does give you, like, besides obviously learning about this stuff, it does give you like a good toolkit to use for your future years at IS, especially in terms of writing. If you get Zarable the first for Intro to IS, because I think there's another professor that teaches it, at least from both of our experiences, since we both had him. He really teaches you how to write in IS. He's a tough grader, so I honestly, I think, going back to the original question of why we chose IS, like, that freshman year really cemented why I wanted IS, but always, like, on a more broader scale, like, I always wanted to study, like, a humanities major that was going to talk about the intersections between politics, between popular culture, a little bit of history, like anthropology. It really kind of just jumbles everything together, which I think is really neat. And like you see the effects of it in day-to-day life, which I think is really cool. Like, I go home and I talk about it with my roommates still.
I feel like if you're interested in a lot of stuff, then IS really complements what you're looking for. Because like, I didn't know what to do, because I was also like, because I was getting interested in a lot of stuff, like you said, like politics, people, culture, everything. So like, I was like, I don't know, but like IS really, and it also depends on the classes you take. Yeah. And I know for both of us, since we're both Latin America and we're both GPS, which is Global Politics and Societies, we both had a similar trajectory in terms of the classes we took, but at the same time, like, both of us, we haven't taken all the same professors, and we've taken a wide variety of classes, so it's like, even then, you can still have such a different, like, learning experience within this major, which I think is valuable, and like, we learn like the basic things that we need to know, but depending on what we wanted to choose with like the classes, we kind of just pick and choose. Like, what class did you take with Professor Lorenzo? The Change and Conflict. That was like for a politics class.
So everything, like, we took politics classes, sociology classes, like, kind of everything combined.
Well, you said that we're both Latin America, like our original focus is Latin America. Why did you choose Latin America?
Okay, I think, well, my primary reason why I chose Latin America is because of like my background. I'm Mexican American. Latin America has always been central to my life. Like, I always wanted to learn more about it from, I would say, from like a historical point of view, but also just like in terms of the relations between like the US and Latin America in general. Like, I wanted to learn the economic side of things, the cultural side of things, and how diplomatic negotiations worked, So I think I was always just drawn to this region because, number one, I thought I would have an advantage, like knowing the language, like understanding the culture and understanding the people, both sides of things. I think like both of us are at a very unique position where like we can dip our toes into both sides, like a perspective of the United States and then a Latin American perspective as well, and that's what kind of also enabled me to go abroad, like, be confident and actually apply those skills that I learned my first 2 years at in this major, and then like see like what I learned abroad, So yeah, Latin America, I think, number one, because of family, because like it's just, I think it's a beautiful region, and like I just have always wanted to learn more about it. And number three, because it's fun. I think personally Latin America is the best, and they're our neighbors, so like I think it's important.
Yes.
How about you, Ana? Yes, you continue.
Well, I'm Mexican, so that's why. I mean, I know Mexican history. Like, in school, they teach you history since you're like in primary school. So I basically know Latin American history, but I also wanted to be I wanted to know more about like the other countries in Latin America. Like, I didn't know anything about like South America, let's say. Well, I did know like pre-colonialism history, but like not in like deep and like how it affects now. So I feel like taking Latin America classes, like read like the Latin American perspectives that we both took with Professor Mike Stanfield. Yeah, I feel like that also gave me an insight of what it was, how like post-colonialism, like how colonialism affected these regions even now. And I did not know anything about that. And also, I don't know, I feel like I know a lot of like history in Mexico, but I don't know history, like I didn't know, like I do know now because of the major, but I didn't know before because it was kind
about
of
history
in general. I mean, we do take like a universal history, like worldwide history, but like it's like the major things that happen in history, you know, like World War II, you know, like those things that everyone should know.
Yes.
But like not in a, like no more than that.
Okay.
Like, yeah. For example, I did know about like I don't know, slavery and everything that happened. But when I took an African American history class here in USF, it was different because like it was how it affected also Africa. Yeah, you know, because it was like different. It was like how it affected Africa and then how it affected the US in terms of economy, social, everything. So that was also really interesting from that I took from the IS major and Latin America.
Yeah. And also, what the like learning more in depth about like the Colombian exchange, at least here in the US for like a world education, like not program, like what's it called? The curriculum that you learn about for history. At least like I'm from California, so we do California history, we do world history, we do like American history as well. And that's for like all students across the US, besides like they do their own state as well. But yeah, like we didn't get to learn the broader and like the broader effects, you know, like what did like the slave trade, what did that mean for not only the US, but what does that mean for Latin America specifically? Like not only was it people that they were bringing over, but they brought over so many goods. Like I remember always asking like my mom growing up, like, oh, like these are like about like the fruits or like the food that I would have, you know, like we would have aguacates at home, we would have like strawberries, pumpkins, and all these things are from the Americas originally, you know, and then you hear about like cows, goats, like like chickens, even horses, they're all like from Europe, you know, and that wasn't introduced to like our world, or the Western world, I guess, until the Colombian exchange. So like getting a deeper like perspective and like understanding of that, I thought was super interesting to learn about. And then like you said, like the effects of it today, still like how we see like what are the effects that are still permanent today, you know, and like what are the people, like how are people living, and what are the injustices that people still face across the border or even here like in the US, you know.
No, yes, even now. Yeah. And you said that you study abroad?
Yes.
Where did you study abroad?
I studied abroad in Argentina. I was in Buenos Aires, Argentina for, I'm counting out the months. Like, it was like 5 months, 6 months. Yeah. End of August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 5 months.
Was it last semester?
Yes, it was last semester. So I went in 2024. Very interesting time. I left to Argentina on July 28th, 29th. They had just won the World Cup. So I was very excited to go because I thought everyone would be celebrating. I was right. Everyone was still very happy. Everyone was cheering on Messi, which I loved when I got there. And then what else was happening during the time I was there? Starting in September is when we started to get the coverage for the elections, the US elections. And that was very interesting to see from abroad. Really? Not being a US citizen and being abroad seeing, like everything from the VP debate to the presidential debates to like the actual election day, seeing that abroad was like an absolutely surreal experience. Like I definitely gained a whole new perspective on how, not like how obvious other countries, how other people see the US, but also like what this election just meant on like a broader scale. Everyone was paying attention, and like
Right.
I thought it was so interesting to see like even like people in the street that I would stop and talk to, like because that's just the culture over there. You can just stop and talk to people. Like they would hear me speaking on the phone in English sometimes, and they'd be like, "Oh, what do you think about the election?" Or like, "Are you Kamala or are you Trump?" And I thought like, wow, like this is crazy. Like I'm walking in the streets of Buenos Aires, and like we're still talking about U.S. politics over here, and like it's true. Like you see the effects of it play out, and I saw the effects of it play out within the 6 months that I was there, or 5 months. I'm sorry, that I was there. Like I thought that was just a very interesting climate to be around, given also the country, like not only the U.S. Perspective, but like the political climate that Argentina was experiencing there as well. In the university that I went to, my peers, my international like student peers that I got to talk with, and like my also fellow like American peers that I was talking to over there, like it was very, very interesting just from that perspective. But like taking it back a little bit, just studying abroad, the experience was amazing. Yes. I recommend it to like any student who can do it, regardless if you're in IS or not. Just study abroad if you can. You gain so much like just cultural wealth, I think, and just like wealth within your soul as well, because you're getting to live abroad. Like hardly that many people do that, or like have the privilege to be able to go and travel and see how different people live, and yeah, like I'm very privileged and very, very grateful that I got that opportunity, because it was kind of like a last minute thing for me. But I know international studies always promotes this, like these opportunities to go study abroad, to learning a new language is a requirement for IS. I know we had a little bit of a different trajectory with that, but like I honestly gained so much from my experience in Argentina, I think, because of the people that I was around, that the new people that I got to meet, some of like my very close friends that I met over there I'm still very close to, and I still talk to every day, and we're always planning on like, oh, when are we going to see each other next? Where can we travel to together next, and like also because I would say because of USF, like primarily because I wouldn't have been able to study abroad if it weren't for like USF kind of really helping me through it, and like pushing me to like, no, like you gotta go kind of do this, and like my professors obviously saying like, oh, you should take this opportunity if you can. But yeah, I had a great time in Argentina.
That's cool. I just have one question on your experience. How was it like in cultural aspect, like with the people? I know like well, I've never been to Argentina, but just historical, like we know that they're really, I don't know, like they're kind of like a mix of like Latinos and Europeans, kind of like a mix between of that. Yeah, so how was it?
Well, okay, so it was very interesting because I chose Argentina to begin with because I didn't know that much about the history. I didn't know that much about like the political culture yet. Like it was only before I started, like I cemented that I was going to Argentina, that I started researching and like studying up on it. But also because I know I did choose, and my mom was a little like hesitant towards it. She's like, you chose like going across the entire like continent, or across the world essentially. There's a whole different continent. I'm on the other side of the world. Like I was closer to Antarctica than I was to home essentially, and that was crazy to me. But I think the cultural differences were definitely a little hard for me because number one, they speak okay, speak the same language, or
Right.
well, they speak Spanish. And we both speak Spanish, but a different Spanish that I had not been like accustomed to in day to day life. Like I'm from LA, and the majority of people the majority of Latino presence in LA is Mexican, is Central American, and yeah, like we don't really get a lot of South Americans. So that's like mainly the East Coast gets like all the South Americans. Like in Miami, I think you would find the majority population of Argentinians in the U.S. and New York as well. And so it was definitely a big culture shock when I got there, because it's different. It's different than the like Latino culture that I was used to here in the U.S. Being mainly surrounded by Mexicans, Salvadorians, and Guatemalans, you know. I definitely faced a little bit of like a hard time adjusting to it at the beginning, because I'm like, wow, this is something completely new, something different that I had never experienced before. But then as you like experience day-to-day life there, settle into your routine, I got very comfortable and familiar with it, and it was so like lovely to see. Definitely like a fun experience immersing myself in a culture. Very hard to adjust. I missed my family a lot and my friends a lot, but I think it was very like rewarding in the end.
Cool.
This, Anna, it brings me to ask, like, sharing about your abroad experiences, because I know you also had a few, so
Yeah.
Tell me about those.
Well, I didn't study abroad, but my parents, my stepmom, she's from the Foreign Service in the U.S. Embassy, and for the time she was in Athens, so I got to be there and work at the U.S. Embassy too, and I guess like it was funny to work there. Like I know like your perspective is more like from a student perspective, so like the perspective that I had was like kind of like being an adult, you know, like working. So it was funny because you see a lot. I feel like this is also because of the international studies major, that you're paying attention more to like this kind of details. Like, okay, so what do they do, you know, like how they interact with each other, what's like the differences between this country and other country in Latin America, you know, like that's what I was thinking, like that's what I had in my mind. And when I was working over there, it was so funny, like it was so interesting to see like their culture, because like for example their breaks, like they would drink coffee and smoke. But like that's such a part of their culture, like drinking coffee and smoking. That's how it was
in Argentina.
Yeah, just it's like the European aspect of it, you know. And for me, it was I don't know, it was weird to see that, you know, because like they were like, oh, we're going on our break, and their break would go and gossip, but with a coffee, just sitting and smoking, like smoking a lot, you know,
like 2 feet away from their office.
And but it was so interesting to see that. Also, I remember talking to my dad about this. I would sometimes Uber home or something, and even the cars were so different. Like they were like so nice cars, and
like how so like
it was, I don't know, like Mercedes or things like
the
that.
Ubers?
Yeah, the Ubers, yeah.
Like the people driving the Ubers were driving Mercedes?
Yes! Like they were nice cars, and I mean, they were like painted in yellow, you know, like kind of like taxi vibes. And I mean, here you also get like those kind of, you have Teslas, you know. I feel like they have like something with Uber, right? Like they have like
Tesla and Uber.
Yeah, I feel like
I
there's
would
something
not.
with, yeah.
I would not know that. Probably. I mean, it's interesting to look at.
Yeah.
To see. You know what? I'm gonna look that up right now.
Yeah, I feel like they have like I don't know how to call it.
Like a contract?
Yeah, they have like a contract between Tesla and Uber. So sometimes like that's because like I was so interested about that, because like every time I like order like
yes, they do.
Yeah, see. they're a poor country.
Yes, in the EU.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I compared it to like, I don't know, Mexico, but like only because I know more about Mexico than other countries in Latin America. Yeah, I mean, I've been to Peru and I've been to Guatemala. Well, I guess, but by the time I didn't went to Peru, so I didn't know. Like, I didn't compare it to Peru at the moment. So I compared it to Mexico, and I compared it to like the cars when you order an Uber, and it was kind of like, oh my gosh, like here are the cars, like it's considered a poor country, but like the cars are so pretty, and then you get like the cars in Mexico and it's like not so pretty.
Wait, so when did you go to Athens?
This was in 2022.
Okay.
Well, I lived in Athens for a year in 2020. Yeah, from 2020 to 2021.
I remember you telling me.
Yeah. But I worked there in the summer in 2022.
Okay.
When I was in my first year of college. And it was fun to see that, like fun to like be immersed in that culture, you know. I mean, I lived there for a year, so I really knew about it. Like I remember going to the coffee shop and getting, you know, I was living my dream. I was being an Athens citizen. I was drinking my coffee. I did not smoke, but I drink my coffee, like, because like they get like this espresso, but like iced espresso.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's so good. It's really so good.
Just the espresso, like ice?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
That's really good.
Yeah. I would drink that.
It was really good, to be honest. Yeah, I was, and also there had like I don't remember. It's like milhojas. It's a cake. Do you know milhojas?
What does mean?
It's like a cake. Like that's the name in Spanish, but like mille fleur or something like that in French.
Oh, it's like a. I've seen this one before. I've never. Okay, every time I'm at the panaderia, I honestly do not know half of the like names of the bun you say.
Have you tried it?
I've never had it before. It kind of looks like a. It's a 1,000-layered cake.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. 1,000-layer cake.
Does that? It's like cream in the middle. Like,
yeah, it's so good.
And powdered sugar on top.
Yeah.
It looks like a Neapolitan.
You show it to the camera.
Oh, it's
So we can put a picture here.
We'll insert a picture.
We'll put a picture here.
We'll put a picture, but this is. I'll zoom in on one. It looks really good from here. I would try it. And you would have that with your espresso?
Well, yeah, but like the one I tried in Greece, it was the best milhojas that I ever tried.
Do they call it milhojas over there too? Or do they have a different name?
I don't remember what the name is. I guess like they put it in the name, like in the French name they have, like the pastry.
Yeah.
I feel like it's mille fleur or something like that.
Yes. You got it right. It's literally.
Yes, I mean.
Yeah, it's a Napoleon cake.
Yeah, it's French. It's French.
Yes.
Yeah. It was really good, and like also, well, I was also a student in Greece like before that, so I also had like that experience, and I was in an American school.
Okay.
That was my first time being in an American school. So it was I don't know, it was a weird experience because like I did not know either the American culture or the Greek culture. So when I was like in this school, I was like, what is this? You know, like, where am I? Because like even the classes weren't all in English, and I was not used to that. I mean, my English was good, but like not, I feel like when it came to like academic, you know, writing and everything, it was kind of like hard.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like getting along with the Greeks was easy because like I feel like they're kind of like similar to Latinos in a way.
that's what I hear a lot of people are.
Really?
They're like the Latinos of Europe.
Yes.
Which is funny, but
yeah, they're really fun. They really like to party.
They're like warm, stay out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they have like some, like, it depends, you know, like obviously like old people are like, but yeah, they're like serious and everything, but they're also so funny with like their circle. But people are I don't know, like it reminded me a lot of like Mexico, to be honest. Like going on the car, having the like there was a lot of traffic and like people drive like crazy, which is like the same. So you know,
in Mexico specifically.
Yeah, it's the same. It was the same. Like I really, even though I was across the world, like you said, I felt some parts that were kind of like similar to Mexican culture, and like I feel like that also made me, I don't know, like made it easier to adapt.
Like having those similarities.
Yeah, having like those similarities, because like they also have like the markets, you know, and like I remember my dad would go to the market and get his fruits and everything. It was so funny. Yeah, so I mean, having like this experience, and now like with the international studies background, I look back at that experience and I'm like, wow, like there's a lot to learn from that, you know, like all the history, like you said, like the economy, everything, like the culture also is a great aspect. I feel like a lot of people, yeah, you know, like when you go to like vacation and stuff, like you don't pay attention to a lot of stuff unless like you're really interested in that. But I feel like with the IS background, then you pay a lot of attention to like these little details.
I have a question. Did you go the second time when you were working into Athens? Did you go after you found IS, or was this
No,
before?
I was still a biology major.
Oh, you're still bio.
Yeah, I was still a bio major.
Do you think this like shifted it?
Yeah, because like looking back at it, you know, I was like, wow, like I know now why this was going on. You know, like even like the culture, it was, I don't know, it's different. And then I started working in Peru for a semester. I mean, for a summer internship too.
The next summer after that.
No, this was in 2024.
Oh, okay. Last summer.
Yeah. In 2023, I did not do anything. I just went back to Mexico. Yeah, I took a break. But no, in 2024, I went to Peru because my dad and my stepmom are living there, and it was fun. It was easier to get along with people because of the language.
Yeah.
You know, because like that was a barrier in Greece. Because like I do not speak Greek. I only know how to say, "Can I take this to go?" And that was because like it became like a family thing, because I was like always "Paro na to paro." I forgot. No. Wait. "Paro na to paro se paqueto para calo."
In Greek?
Yeah, that's in Greek.
I sound like gibberish.
And then, but like in Peru it was easier because like I speak Spanish, and also like the culture is kind of like similar to Mexican culture.
I bet the food was so good in Peru.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a really picky eater person, yeah. But when I went, not because of the job, but before that, I went with my fiance to just like vacation there. And he's a chef, so of course we had to try the food there. I mean, we tried ceviche, we tried caldo de gallina. Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna try caldo de gallina. Like that does not sound good. But no, it was really good, to be honest. Yeah, the food was really good. I still prefer my Mexican food too.
Oh, yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, getting along with the people there was easier because of like having like the similar background. Because I feel like that's what happens, you know, like you get along with people if you have similar background. Because like you have something that you can share with each other, you know,
or more so like it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like that's why I think at first it was hard for me to adjust in Argentina, because I didn't really feel like, yes, you're Latino, like,
but it's different.
But it's different.
Like,
like it's like one more North Americans, they're South Americans, but they're like South Americans, you know.
But like you said, the culture, the language really helps, you know, because like you spoke in Spanish, you speak Spanish,
and just you know, like over time, I think also being like exposed to a completely different person that you have absolutely nothing in common with. I think that's also super cool to see, because at first maybe you on from a very shallow perspective you don't really see much there, but then underneath you're kind of like, oh wait, like we do get along, like we have similar interests, similar values and stuff, you know. It's just like you have to get to know the person. But yeah, at first it's hard.
Yes,
it's definitely interesting.
Well, just to finish the episode, we kind of touch on touch on this question, like how being an IS student helped us in our journeys, like outside school, like your study abroad experience. I mean, we kind of say something on it, but feel free to expand more on this.
I think even besides, or not besides, just on top of my study abroad experience, IS has helped me through, I think, so many things in not only day-to-day life, but like going back home even for summer breaks and applying it to, you know, like jobs or like internship opportunities, you know. I think it's just a great skill to have, and to be able to analyze things from an international studies perspective. It's like I think you have a more like aware sense of you know. You're not like, because we're exposed to so many things in IS, like we're not actively like closing our eyes to them, you know. Like we want to incorporate parts of what we learned to you know, our interactions with people, you know, and being even if that means being culturally aware when we meet a person who's completely different than us, if that means like
because you take into account everything that's happening to them.
And as long as we're not all knowing, like that's not what IS provides whatsoever, but it just, you know, I think it can definitely be useful
to question more things. You know?
It makes you have a critical viewpoint, but I also think it provides or gives you empathy, and I think that's super important, you know, and compassion for things that you might not have compassion for, like if you just going around on your day-to-day life that you don't like really care, you know, like what the first thing you do, you wake up, like you brush your teeth, and you don't like think about like, oh, my toothpaste bottle is like, it's done, it's finished, okay, I'm throwing it out in the trash, but it's like, oh, where is that toothpaste bottle going? And you don't have to do that every single time, you know? But that's just a very extreme example.
That would be like a burden, you know, like, oh my gosh, everything.
No. I mean, sometimes I will say that some days not like that, but
you're aware of what's happening around you. You're more aware of what's happening to you.
And I think also, like, when it comes to talking to like our family members who are in like either also close to our age, or also like even our mom's, dad's extended family, like it's interesting to hear about their points of view, you know. Like for me, a big part of IS is, you know, being able to have conversations with people that are like that have different viewpoints than you.
I like that.
And
like conversations
and
with people.
Come to not debates, but just like a conversation with
just
with
to
someone.
Understand their point of view, because like I feel like before or I don't know, like people want to like get their point across, and like sometimes you're close to other points of view, and IS gives you that, like gives you being open to, okay, what are the other aspects of it, you know, like what are people thinking about this, and why are they thinking like this, you know?
No, I completely agree.
That was it.
That was
our first episode. Yes.
We finished. Our next episodes to come, we have a couple professors from the International Studies Department, the Politics Department, and are those just the Politics and International Studies?
Yeah.
Okay, just those two. But it was lovely talking to you, Anna. I had a great time.
I know, it was fun.
And we'll see you next time.
I know.